What is up, everyone? It's Kamikaze here today, and today I wanted to talk about tomorrow's test server, which is jam-packed with a new Titan, the Ming, along with map changes, a new hangar, and player profile. Along with, on Sunday, we have the Cryogenic pack, which is weapons that freeze other robots. This is a lot to cover, guys. I hope you enjoy. Like and subscribe because it helps out my channel and also this video so much. Please enjoy. Let's start out with the first one, which is the third new Titan, and that is the Ming. Now, I told you guys about the Bicycle a long time ago, which was supposedly the fourth dragon robot, and of course, we have found it here today, and that is the Titan. Now, this is actually the Ming, and I said it was going to be called the Shun or the Ming, I'm pretty sure. I might have said it was the Shun or something, but yes, it is the fourth dragon robot, so we got that on point, and it's a pretty interesting statistic. Thank God, though, that this robot does not have stealth or an insane amount of resistance, because that would have been a major issue. So let's get into this robot. It's honestly, judging by the stats, it's seeming a little bit underpowered compared to the other Titans. So this robot is called the Ming, of course. Its durability is 325,000. So honestly, compared to some of the other Titans, it's actually not too much. You know, the other Titans, you know, the Arthur had the two shields, the two insane shields. And then we had, whatchamacallit, the other one, the cowboy one, the Kid, which actually had, I think, over 400,000, which is a lot of stuff. And so, you know, this one's not, it's lacking some durability, actually, but its speed is also much lower. The Kid actually had 45 kilometers per hour. This one only has 35 kilometers per hour. So that's a lot less speed. You know, at 10 kilometers, maybe in like a Hellburner or something, wouldn't matter too much. But, you know, when you're taking, this took off like 20 or so % of this robot's speed. So its speed is not a lot at all. But its flying speed is 45 kilometers per hour, which is also extremely slow. It does get a resistance of 33%, so you'll get a little bit of extra. It'll take a little bit more to kill you when you are in your ability mode. And then it has a ability called self-repair, which is it repairs 10,000 per second. It will not repair anybody around you because it's called, of course, self-repair. And the self-repair duration is for 4 seconds, so you'll be able to repair 40,000, and its cooldown is 15 seconds. Okay, so the reason why I'm saying that this is kind of an underpowered robot compared to the others is, of course, that durability and speed. Those are kind of the main factors in a robot, including its ability. But honestly, the ability isn't even that powerful, and both of the abilities aren't really that powerful, and it's kind of lacking, really and truly. In terms of durability, you know, I would say a lot more durability. Compared to the Titans, you know, it's a powerful robot, but to be honest, the other Titans had some sort of something that made its durability like really a pretty decent amount. I know when you see 325,000 durability, you're probably not like, you're probably thinking, whoa, that's a lot. But really and truly, compared to some of the other robots in the game, you know, it's not too much. And so I think, honestly, considering it only has a 33% resistance in its ability, this thing is going to be lacking in terms of durability. The Arthur, you know, had its shields on it, so that's what made it the tank, you know. And then we had the Kid, which had a lot more durability, and then also had a 50% resistance. So I'm starting to wonder, you know, maybe we should add a little bit more health to this. We'll see how good this robot goes, but it also does have the flying ability, and it seems to me like it'll be a sitting duck. You know, 45 kilometers per hour, it's not that much in terms of flying speed. You know, we have things like the Jun that are going 90 kilometers per hour, twice the speed. So you can imagine, you know, this robot is going to be a sitting duck. With no shields, no nothing really to protect it, it's going to, you know, you don't even have anti-stealth in this, because remember, these robots do not have modules. They won't have counters to some of these stealth robots. So I have a feeling that this robot is not going to be too powerful, and that, you know, we're going to need something extra. Because, you know, these robots are seeming super powerful, and I can understand that. Just looking at the stats and stuff, you know, you have the durability and the shields, but they don't have any stealth, they don't have any modules, they don't have any of that. So it's not too much. You need more durability, in my opinion, on the Ming. So we'll have to see, of course, on the test server. I don't want to make up my mind way too much. I know I've already kind of made my mind up by looking at the stats, but we'll have to see on the test server. Maybe things will be different. but that's what I kind of get from this. We also have the map changes, the Moon, Shenzhen, and Dead City. So it's seeming like all of these maps are getting a reworking in terms of camera angles and stuff like that because, well, they need to prepare for the Titans. The Titans are going to be a massive thing in the game, and you need to change the maps up because they are twice the size. So this time around, we have 3 new maps coming into play, and it's seeming like, again, they're going to rework all of the maps, every single one of the maps, to be able to handle these Titans. And I really think, that it did help out last time. I think some of the buildings and stuff were shorter or taller and stuff, and it did make Titan gameplay seem a little bit more balanced and just better, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you guys feel about the map changes? They're not like really huge map changes. They're just like they're just very little things that for some reason, I don't know, they just made it seem a little bit better in terms of the Titans. And then we also have the new hangar. We saw the new hangar last time. The new hangar was looking pretty sick, not gonna lie. We had all 5 robots in your field of view, which was kind of cool. And then we also had the Titan in the background. So being able to see all 5 of your robots at once, I don't know, it's a little bit more of a convenience compared to having to flip through all of yours. So that was, I kind of like the map, not the map, the new hangar change, the new hangar style. It looked just cleaner. I don't know. It's a better user interface, I guess. And then the player profile evidently is getting a change. I don't remember last time the player profile didn't get a change. Yeah, that wasn't there last time. So we'll have to see what that looks like. Maybe it'll be good, maybe it'll be bad. We'll have to see what it looks like. And of course, it's going to basically be changed around because we have to get the sixth Titan slot in there somewhere. You can't just randomly put it somewhere. You have to make room for it, I guess. And so on Sunday only, we have the new weapon pack, which is the Cryogenic pack. I don't know how I feel about these. These are not... I don't know how I feel about it. We have Lockdown, and the Cryogenic pack seems to be an extension of Lockdown, but except it only slows down your robots. I feel like this is a little bit excessive, and, it just makes the game that much more complicated. I think, the game is complicated as it is. If I were to be going into this game as a new player, looking at all these abilities and all these new weapons and stuff, I would be flipping out. And these weapons come to you, by the time you're level 30, you have access to, I think 50 different weapons, over 50 different weapons and 50 different robots, along with modules and all that stuff. It's a little bit overwhelming. And I think, you don't always have to, every single update, add in a new weapon pack. Sometimes you can just expand upon other weapon packs. And that's exactly what I think the Cryogenic pack should be. I think that this should be another set of Lockdown weapons. Lockdown weapons were some of the, I would say, they were pretty successful, I always liked the Lockdown weapons, When they first came into the test server, I think everyone freaked out and everyone was like, oh my goodness, this is a game breaker. But in reality, when it came onto the test server, it was actually a pretty interesting addition. I don't like the idea of chance on the Lockdown weapons. I think there are different ways to do the Lockdown mechanic, but I do like the Lockdown weapons in general. So I think that we should have another batch of Lockdown weapons. Change these rather than being the Cryogenic, slowing down robots and adding in making the game even more complex. Just add in another weapon pack and expand upon maybe the Lockdown weapons, so we don't have to add in a new weapon ability or whatever. So these Cryogenic weapons, there are 3, and they're all pretty much the same, actually. So it was interesting. So we'll have to see, they'll be basically the same weapon, but in light, medium, and heavy versions. Kind of like, the Ballista, Arbalest, and Trebuchet. More or less, they're basically the same things. So first up, we have obviously the light weapon, which is the Rime. And yes, it's not rhyme like as in like rhyming. It's R-I-M-E. It's a weird name. I'll have to Google what that means, because usually there's a little bit of lore behind it. But it's going to be at level 8. It's going to have damage of 740, ammo of 35. So a lot of ammo. And then there is going to be a freezing enemies ability, which when you freeze the enemies, they will receive 20% more damage and 60% less mobility. So this will be basically taking 20% more damage. I think this is going to be a chance-based weapon, or if you do a certain amount of damage, something along the lines of that. And so if you hit them, you know, with this weapon, basically what's going to happen is they're going to get 20% extra damage. So let's say you do 1,000 damage to them, it's actually going to turn out to be 1,200. So it's going to be interesting to see how that could work out. You know, going up against falcons and stuff, those robots that it takes the entire team kind of to destroy that robot. It can take a while, and maybe you have these cryogenic bots that will basically just hit him, and then maybe you can take 20%. Maybe he'll take 20% extra damage, and that could be a counter to some of our heavy weapons. So there is, I guess, a silver lining to these cryogenic robots. That is actually kind of a good idea. And also, it's going to have a 60% freezing ability. I'm not a big fan of the freezing ability because, again, I think, you know, the freezing ability is kind of like the lockdown. There's really no need for another ability to come into the game. Why not just make a lockdown and maybe nerf the weapon's damage a little bit? And that's all I really think is needed, you know? Oh, crap, my phone turned off. Here we go. Sorry. So that's what I think about. Oh my goodness, what's going on? Okay, there we go. Sorry, my phone screen for a second, it turned off after 10 minutes, so I had to reboot it. But I really think that, you know, the lockdown weapons and the cryogenic pack, you know, just turn them into another batch of lockdown weapons, because lockdown weapons were pretty successful, and we just don't need cryogenic weapons. Alright, so the second one is just like the cryogenic's name. It's named Cryo, which is, at level 8, it does a damage of 1,150, so about, give or take, 30-35% more damage. And then its ammo's 35, of course, like its a light counterpart. And then its freezed enemies receive 20% more damage and are slowed by 60%. And then the third one is the Glacier, which has a damage of 1,560. So double that of its light counterpart and about 30% more damage than its medium counterpart. And then it also has an ammo of 35%, or an ammo of 35. And then freezed enemies will receive, of course, 20% more damage and slowed by 60%. The slowing aspect of it, I don't know. Again, lockdown. You know, we'll have to see how it is on the test server, but I'm always, you know, adding in these new complicated abilities like this, it's not always the best idea because the game is complicated. It really is. You know, maybe they can add this you know, these new weapons and with new abilities, but what they really need to do is they really need to focus on newer players coming into the game and not freaking them out because of all the new weapons. You know, bring these weapons in a lot more slower and allow them time to, you know, learn what the heck these weapons do. Because I remember coming into this game maybe, what was it, a year and a half ago? Coming into this game and being absolutely freaked out by all the features. And that was before modules, that was before pilots, that was before all of that stuff. And I was honestly freaked out by everything because there's so much new stuff that you just didn't understand what everything did. And everything, you know, all the stuff, all the new weapons and robots and everything came onto me. By the time I was level 30, I had probably maybe 100 battles under my belt or so. And I already had access to every single weapon, and I didn't understand what half of them did. Now we have pilots, now we have modules, all this stuff, and a bunch of new weapons and robots. It must be even more confusing to the new player. So I think what they should do is they should space it out even more. Maybe let the levels go up to level 40, and then make the robots and weapons come out slower and slower, and allow players time to actually understand what the heck they're doing. Because when I came into this game, I was very confused. I liked the game's concept, I liked playing it, but to be honest, I didn't know certain things. I didn't know how to upgrade things. Like, that's the extent of how confused I was. Everything that I had in my hangar was stock. My Thunders were level 5, which is the stock level. You know, my Punishers were level 1. I didn't upgrade because I didn't know how. The new players, they're stupid. They don't understand how to play. They've never seen this game before in their life, and you just can't expect players to, you know, understand all these new weapons, all these new concepts and stuff. To me, this makes absolute, complete sense, but to a new player, they're not going to understand what the heck is going on here. So, I feel like they need to explain things better to the newer player, and then, you know, you can add in more complicated robots and abilities like this. And, I mean, cryogenic robots, or cryogenic weapons, they could be an okay, you know, new thing into our new world of war robots. You know, maybe there are different playstyles to the cryogenic robots and to the cryogenic weapons and the lockdown weapons. just for now, it's very confusing. So they need to rework that, I believe, and we'll see how the cryogenic pack works out. Alright guys, thank you for listening to me blabber on about random stuff that probably made no sense to you. Please, if you could, again, like and subscribe because it helps me out. It helps out the channel, and of course, it helps out this video a lot in terms of views and stuff. So, have a great day, everyone. Please, again, like and subscribe. I'm going to see you next time. This is Kamikaze, signing out, everyone.